One of our goals with products as a company is that they're new, they're exciting, they are something that has never really been done before or thought of in a different way. And kind of how we're able to do that is we start from the absolute ground zero. We try to intentionally think about why is it done this way and can it be done in a better way? I think that's why we're able to get a new interesting perspective on these products, is because we're not just trying to improve upon what's already been done, we're trying to completely reimagine the whole process and really start from scratch.
At UltraView, we know that our customers expect the highest excellence from us. And so everything needs to be purposeful and intentional and packaged in a small space, and it needs to work every single time. Rather than check a box and say, we want to have a new type of release, we're going to try to understand what user scenarios are, what their needs are, what their pain points are, and try to build a philosophy around doing that well and kind of eliminating their pain points.
It's the details within a specific product that is where the soul of the product actually is. That's where you can really differentiate a product between another one, is the fit, the finish, the shape, all of those little things that are thoughtfully added to a product because the person designing the product is a person who uses the product.
So ever since we came out with the Hinge 1 several years ago, we've wanted a button release alongside of it. But we knew we couldn't just come out with a button release. It had to be intentional, it had to be deliberate, and we had so much that we wanted to fit into it.
Product development is a constant process of refinement, and it's never done, right, until somebody rips it out of your hands and puts it on the market.
UltraView is really good about thinking outside the box. The industry as a whole is kind of archaic, and we're really good at coming in and just mixing things up. How can we make this different? How can we make this more simplistic? And we bring people into the team that think that way, and we don't have anyone to say no. We run with them. We see if they work. If they don't work, we are quick on our feet, and that really shows in this new UV button.
This is our display case of our prototypes. This is prototype number 1, the very first iteration. This is the housing assembly from our second prototype iteration. It's got what? How many cycles on it?
Over 65K plus miscellaneous plus all subsequent tests.
Probably 70,000 cycles.
Easily.
And it also happens to be our laser testing assembly as well.
As a company, we started very focused on target archery. A lot of people like Chris took a lot of our target gear and retrofitted it for hunting. And he's like, guys, make this pin for hunting because it works great. And we did. And we're super excited for UV button because the market is pulling us in the direction of having the perfect button release that people can use for bow hunting.
This is going to be the ultimate button release. And we made it for the serious bow hunter, along with just the serious archer overall.
When we started to consider that a lot of folks are using the UV button, they're going to be using it when they're hunting, they're going to be using it outdoors, and where being quiet is really a premium. We started to look at different ways within the button that that generates noise, and how can we eliminate that. So one is to kind of look at metal on metal surfaces when they can be grinding, right? So try to eliminate those as much as possible so that it really slides well. As well, we put some bumpers in on places where linkages are kind of slamming into something. They have a nice kind of soft landing spot. And then things like springs that can kind of ring after they're shot. We can kind of deaden those as well with some other methods.
One of the features that stands out the most in UV button is the Ultra Glide bushing system. It isolates all metal-on-metal contact except for those points that are extremely necessary to function, such as the sear interfaces and the trigger interface.
It's not something you can see in it, but it's something you can kind of feel. When you cock it, it's a little smoother. When you fire it, it's a little more quiet and dead in your hand. And we believe that Ultra Glide is gonna provide the peace of mind for when those big moments present themselves.
So there has been a lot of debate, building this button. What do we need? What do we need to focus on? Do we need to focus on target archery? Do we need to focus on bow hunting? Well, we kind of did both, and the string retainer is no exception to that. It can be used in both applications, but especially in the bow hunting world, you're always gonna be ready clipped onto your D-loop. It'll never pop off. If you're sitting in your stand, going on a spot and stock, it's always going to be at the ready.
When UltraView decided to upgrade the button to include Cerakote, we were trying to put the most premium surface finish on, really level up our products by going to what is the best that's out on the market. It's best from the engineering standpoint. It also looks really great.
The reason why it's really nice to have a hinge release that shares the same form factor as a button release is because the hinge is great for practicing technique, and the button is great because it gives you the control that you need for intense encounters.
For me, this time of year, I'm gearing up to bow hunt, and I'm finishing the final target shoots of the year. So I'm switching back and forth in between these two because I got to get my hunting bow ready. I got to stay sharp with my target bow. And I can go back and forth in between these two on even different bows, and the point of impact is the same.
So all of these small details really matter in a product like UV Button, because in big moments, you're not going to want to be worried about little things.